Now, folks, if you'll just gather around a little closer now. Come right in a little closer. That's it. That's fine. That's fine, folks.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Don't surprise me that Ryan Garcia is talking about that he's retired and he's not going to stand up for his fate in 48 hours. Everybody's been protecting him. We know these couple channels, Ego and Showbiz. You seem to celebrate guys on drugs in the ring, but you're running out of time. In 48 hours, your boy, Ryan Garcia, will be suspended. And you networks, promoters, and everybody that's been trying to protect him, you're going to go down with the shit. Mark my words.
When the shit goes down, you better be ready. When the shit goes down.
So that's a 10G fine to the Nutsack Commission. 1.2 in guaranteed purse money must be returned to Golden Boy Promotion. Devin Haney will get an undisclosed percentage of that money. Victor Balco, infamous for the Balco scandal, he replied to Ryan's official retirement. If the reason he's retiring to avoid the drug testing, Conte asked if he's not testing, he's not complying. Because yes, while you're suspended, you have to test regular in compliance to only do in a year. That's the deal he's cut. I have a feeling that the Nutsack Commission are going to overlook that. Then in a year's time, Ryan's going to announce a comeback with no repercussions, with nobody asking, well, what happened to the testing he was supposed to be doing in compliance to the year suspension? Ryan went into a hissy fit. Not going to bother with that. Not befitting of a grown man. Devin Haney, he thanked the Nutsack Commission for doing the right thing, making the right decision. He said, me, Vada, and the commission should be all splitting that money. He himself might take a break from the game. He said he'll be back in a year. He said he had all the belts already. From now, he's fighting at whatever weight he chooses. Ryan Garcia has the empathy of a full-blown narcissist, but his boxing career is over in terms of being a world-class athlete. He had his little moment when he floored Devin multiple times, outpointing Devin, but that was short-lived. He doesn't come back in a year's time at 140, 157 or 154. That's what we'll be coming back at. And let's keep it real. Without rehydration clauses or some kind of catch weight, Peds, who does he beat at 154, 147? Who of note can he beat? He'll likely branch off into the celebrity circuit. He won't just disappear. And as for worries that Ryan is going to commit suicide, that vain narcissist ain't committing suicide. Are you crazy?
Crazy.
Which man commits suicide when this man thinks he can fuck everybody's wife and girlfriend? He's not committing no suicide. I feel sorry for the people who really have ADHD and bipolar, but aren't trying to use it as a shtick. You know, Ben Shalom has it, but he doesn't use it as a shtick. He genuinely has it. He said it on October Red's interview. Very good interview, actually. But yo, that's all part of Ryan's shtick, isn't it? You know, that modern day, I got bipolar ADHD. It's really deep, man. And, you know, I struggle every day with my demons. And the Illuminati are coming for me. And, you know, he goes into full thespian mode. But Ryan, you know what I mean? Seen it all before, Ryan. The whole process was drawn out for way too long. And it's something that the testing agencies and sanctioning bodies and promoters need to look at. Can't be much good for the image of the sport. Ryan is also getting sued by NutraBio, who did their own independent test with a relevant testing agency, and of course they came up clean. Ryan said their supplement was contaminated, and it looks like he's going to have to pay, you know, like he said shit about Logan Paul and KSI's energy drink, and they were going to sue him, but it looks like Logan is showing a little contrition and mercy. But NutraBio, they're going to sue him. Ryan, just like a lot of kids these days, has no filter. There's no need to tweet every piece of information you have or everything in your head. There can't be no need to do that, surely. They've also restored Devin's record back to 31-0 and Ryan's back to 24-1.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Apologies, I didn't realise that Sandor Martin was signed to Top Rank in January. Bob hasn't put him on any cards. Top Rank signed Sandor because his mandatory was coming up. It basically keeps Bob in the mix in what is quite an exciting division at 140. I don't think Bob expects Devin to sign to fight Sandor for 1.6.
WBC belt is going to become vacant, right? And Sandor Martin v someone is going to take place.
You really think Devin will vacate the
100%.
WBC?
He ain't going to fight Sandor Martin. Right, who's going to pay for that fight?
Devin was making more than that when he was at 135. Before he became undisputed at 135, he was making 2 to 3 million fighting the likes of Gamboa and Linares. His last fight, the revenue split was 55-45 in Garcia's favour. And while Ryan didn't make 50 million and Devin probably didn't make 30, Ryan probably made up to at least 15 million. Devin probably made up to 10 million and more. I mean, they were gambling how much? For about 500,000 a pound, Ryan came overweight. You don't gamble that kind of money unless you're making big stacks. So he's not going to fight Sandor Martin for 1.5. Although the fight is probably worth that, he's not going to take that fight for 1.5. Bobby Arum. He didn't sign Sandor because the viewership is going to go up when he fights. Doesn't speak the lingo, southpaw, little tricky, and apparently he's got a bit of a dig now. Put Teofimo on the floor. He's the booby prize. He is the booby prize. He's not one of them assets like if he loses his mandatory position or doesn't pick up a belt, Top Rank won't have much use for him. These are the realities of the boxing game at elite level. These are the realities. The 2-point whatever bid that Bob made is a token gesture. It's his obligation to Sandor because he signed to Top Rank. That's all that is. If Bob wanted to, he could lobby with the WBO easy and get Sandor a shot at Teofimo Lopez and have an in-house fight. But why isn't he doing that? Because he saw what happened the last time they fought. He won't make an in-house fight with Sandor and Teo, but he's willing to make Devin versus Teo if Devin doesn't want the Sandor Martin fight. It's very strategic. You know, Steve Claggett gets a shot against Teofimo Lopez, but Sandor doesn't. Oh, I wonder why Bob signed Sandor. He doesn't care if Devin doesn't take the fight. Like, Sandor might not like it, or maybe he might like it. But there's a distinct possibility that another step-aside payment will be made. He took one for the Devin Ryan Garcia fight, and he might have to take one here. Yeah, he's getting money for sitting on his ass. I mean, Top Rank don't mind that. Why is that? Because they can make 5 or 6 step-aside payments. You know what? Sandor's still in that mandatory position. Nothing can move unless you pay Sandor or he gets a title shot. The long game is in favour of the promoter more than it is the boxer. Sandor might want his title shot, but then again, he's still in a great position. He's getting paid. His last 2 fights was in 2023 in Spain. Top Rank still haven't got him a fight. He's basically a pawn in the game. If he takes another step aside, they'll have to get him a tune-up, they'll have to get him a fight. Right? And if he's not just satisfied with taking step-aside money, he's going to have to go talk to Bob Arum, or get his people to talk to Bob Arum and say, we want a title shot. No more step-aside. If Bob can't see no value in the fight, probably release him from his contract.
It was a really smart performance from Liam Paro. We've always known he was good. He's an undefeated fighter. But until you step up to that levels, you never really know if they're elite. And he proved on Saturday that he's one of the best 140 pounders in the world. Looking to bring him home in a massive fight in Australia in October.
Who do you think's possible? And do you think maybe a Devin Haney fight is possible, despite kind of what's been mentioned on Twitter?
My last conversations with Devin Haney and his team, his lawyer, was we would like to do the Liam Paro unification fight. Obviously, there's an issue because Sandor Martin's in line. We didn't hear back from them, but we still would like to make the fight. Whether there's a deal that can be done with Sandor Martin, probably not. But if not, he may vacate the WBC title. So we'll have to see. But I really like Liam Paro against Devin Haney. Devin Haney has a big name globally, but also particularly in Australia. Because don't forget, he beat George Kambosos there twice. So, definitely open to that fight.
Sandor Martin's people might have to put their foot down, because I'll be honest with you, I don't think Bob would be opposed to letting Eddie put the Devin Haney-Liam Paro fight on. Why? Just make an off-the-record agreement with Eddie that either the winner fights Sandor next, that the winner fights Teofimo Lopez next. Huge. Huge. Furthermore, all the people who are jumping on what Devin said what he said spur of the moment about Matchroom dirty play or whatever. That was spur of the moment. Business is business. And why are people attacking Matchroom? Eddie just said he'll be willing to make the Devin Liam Paro fight, which will net Devin a whole lot more money. So what is everybody talking about? He can't be seen to be giving Devin preferential treatment when he's got people signed to him who are looking for world title fights and big fights themselves in the same weight class. Devin found out he's no longer the prized asset at MATCHROOM that he once was. So what happened? It's more than him losing to Ryan Garcia. It's much more than that. He's still champion. Eddie signed Hitchens. He signed Boots. He's got Jalil. He's now got his foot in the American market signing fighters like Regis Progress and Boots. He's doing that now. Even had Deontay Wilder as the MATCHROOM captain in the 5 versus 5 in June.
Bob said you said that you're not willing to pay what he's paying Shakur. Is that true?
I said to him, Paul, I'm not paying him the money you're paying him, Bob. And he went, wow. So
Eddie did say he'd do a fight-by-fight deal with Shakur, but I don't know if he's having second thoughts about that right now. Shakur's minimum cap on Top Rank is high. Shakur's getting 3 mil, and they're saying up to 4 mil for fighting the likes of Yoshino, Conceição, Dos Santos. Not exactly household names in America. It's a lot of money. You know, MATCHROOM would need at least a 4-year cushion where they've got him tied down so they can work around getting him them career-defining fights where they could actually look at start getting the money back they're paying him for his minimum cap. Even then, you work out a deal with Al Heyman, fight the likes of Tank Davis, just take one of them left hand from Tank, as much as I critique him, and that's that. It's risky. So I'm assuming it was at Jack Catterall versus Josh Taylor where Bob Arum saw Eddie and asked him, are you going to sign Shakur? Eddie said, I'm not going to pay him what you're paying him. So it's up in the air right now. And let's consider, Bob has been in the game before I was born. He's had a good run, but he's mean-spirited. The way he said he has doubts about high demand for free agent Shakur Stevenson, that he can't sell what Tank is selling. He can't do this. He can't do that. He said the same thing about Terence when Terence was leaving. First of all, whatever he discussed with Eddie about Shakur, he shouldn't have brought that to social media. He's a grown man, more than a grown man. He should know better. He came out and said, I could have bought a house on Beverly Hills with all the money we invested in Terence Crawford, saying it's a big waste of money. But perhaps it's a good omen. Like Mikey Garcia said, and the track record proves it. De La Hoya left Bob Arum, he made the most money. Mayweather left, he made the most money. Cotto left, made the most money. Chavez Jr. left, made the most money. Andy Ruiz left, made the most money. I left, made the most money. There's a little bit of a pattern here, That's why. We can add to that too. Crawford left, he's making the most money. Shakur might be next. He leaves and makes the most money. Bob is basically hoping that nobody will have an interest and that he'll have to come back to Top Rank groveling. That's what he's hoping. This guy who's had a very long run in the game and made a whole load of money is still preying on the downfall of young fighters like Shakur. I've never liked Bob Arum, and I knew his relationship with Shakur was going to break down like this, and I stated it many times. You guys know that. It would be a bit of a blow if Eddie was to reject Shakur because Shakur demanded too much money. Because let's not forget, it was mid-May when Shakur tweeted, Eddie Hearn is a hell of a promoter. He understands promoting, and I've got to give him his props for that. Eddie put up a fist in response. Shakur obviously letting Eddie know, yo, let's go. He wants to leave Top Rank and go to MATCHROOM. Couldn't be any clearer. The big problem though, not a big problem, I don't know how big a problem to be honest, but one of the issues Shakur has is he's joining MATCHROOM when people are literally throwing themselves at Eddie Hearn and DAZN. Whereas the American fighters, let's say just 4, 3, maybe even 2 years ago, were reluctant to first sign with this app. What the fuck is an app? We don't fight on apps over here. And then to break protocol and sign with a British promoter who the likes of Leonard Ellaby and Bob Arum were saying he doesn't understand the American market, he's out of his depth. The truth is, all the major fights and events are on DAZN right now. That's the truth. Yeah? So Eddie's not chasing the PBC fighters like he was. They're chasing him, which means Eddie has more control in any negotiating. He don't just have to roll over right now. Who turned down that bag? Broner? That DAZN bag? The Charlos? Tank turned it down several times. Wilder turned it down. Eventually he took it. But them days when Mikey Garcia got $7 million to fight Jesse Vargas on DAZN, they're not spending like that no more. But maybe Shakur could be an exception. You know what I mean? Like, Bob shouldn't take everything Eddie Hearn says as gospel anyway. Yeah, they do business together, but they're not like best of pals. They're not like Frank and Eddie these days or anything like that. Eddie Hearn could have anything planned. He could have anything planned. You know what I mean? Whereas when he was younger, he'd be probably likely to blab and tell Bob, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But, you know, he's older and wiser. I doubt he would have showed Bob his whole hand in what he's got planned with Shakur Stevenson, if he has anything planned. Plus, Shakur still has that one fight left on his top-ranked contract in July against Aratalian, the German. And he needs to perform after that Edwin De Los Santos fight. He wants to take good form into negotiating with the Zone and MATCHROOM. Good performance. On the other hand, he could be joining MATCHROOM at the right time with Riyadh season going on. And I'm sure he's not stupid enough to ask for 2 Ferraris. So a lot of fights could get made. Could get made where beforehand, with the networks and the promoter politics, not so easy. So could be the right time. You know what I mean? One thing he doesn't want to happen though is that Eddie drags him over there. There's no one to fight, and then he tries to put Shakur in there with Andy Cruz. Shakur's going to be like, what am I going to fight him for? What's there to gain? You know what I mean? I want Lomachenko, I want Tank. You know, watch out for that. And with that,
I'm gone. Ghost, peace, sayonara.